Oh,
check it out.
forget about it. Let's do this.
This is gonna be a good one.
Let's go.
What's going on, car guys and car gals? It's Lou Ramirez, the car guy.
And it's Fred Lenard's subprime hero.
And we are brewing solutions on the Car Guy Coffee podcast. And we are so excited that you are with us tonight because we got a very special brew for you.
Oh, do we ever?
It's some of that good.
It's some of that good, right? We're excited.
You're not going to forget about it.
We're obviously not in the studio. We're not at the cafe. We actually had to do a lot of changes to make the show work tonight, just today. Actually, starting last night, we kind of
Solutionaries.
We never got to where we can grab all our equipment, but we're making it work right now, and we're excited because we did not want to switch the show up. We wanted the show to be tonight. We wanted to do this thing. We wanted to get to know this guy because this is somebody that our network needs to learn more about. This is somebody that inspires people. This is somebody that makes you laugh. This is somebody that if I walked into a dealership, I would 100% do business with him. He's the kind of personality that makes me just want to laugh, and it just makes you, but at the same time, you know that he knows what he's talking about, right? And that's what makes him special, man. Dude's got a heart of soul. I can't wait. A heart of gold, I should say. Heart of soul.
Well,
he's got a soul and a heart
and he's got
gold.
Soul.
That's right.
He's got all kinds of flavors that are all mixed up, and he's brewing something consistently for the industry for you to keep enjoying this incredible business that we get the chance to be a part of. He is making sure to make light of some of the hard moments, but also have fun doing what it is that we do. If you're not having fun, you ain't doing it right, everybody. And we're trying to make sure that everybody knows who's up inside of this room today. But help us out. Get some more
First
people
things
in here.
first.
Tag a car guy.
Tag a car gal.
And share.
Let's get them in here. Let's have some fun. Let's get some comments going. Listen, we got somebody that, like I said, is phenomenal. If you haven't seen him on social media, you haven't really been looking. I'm going to tell you, his content not only does it speak to automotive, but it speaks to the world, man. People can see this and just know that this is the kind of person, like I said, I would do business with, right? Absolutely awesome. We got a lot of amazing people in here. We got Robin Welsh saying, hello, I am all about the fun. That's right. We got Josh Bagley, my man. What's up, Josh Bagley?
What's going on, Josh?
Hello, fam. Oh, snap. Brooke, the baby is coming soon, man. I'm so excited for you both. Pumped up. Thank you all for being here. Those are some great people, folks. Reach them out. The Bagleys are just some amazing people doing some big things right now. So anyhow, we have a guest that I'm excited to announce, Lou. I'm excited to get on here. I'm excited to just talk to. hear his story, get the 5-liner in, but really to do more things with. So folks, I was going to just announce this. Look out for some stuff coming soon. You're going to probably start seeing this guy on our show a little bit more often. I have a great feeling about it. Let's get this thing going, Lou. Let's do it.
Yes, you bean spilling son of a gun. We got some thunder he's got to bring to this show right now. So we're gonna. He gave you just a little bit, just a little bit of what's brewing in the cafe. Car guys, car gals, help us to make welcome. That's right, Eric. You are correct, sir. It is the one,
the only
John Labate. Welcome to the show.
What's up, guys? What's up, guys? That was a great introduction. Thank you very much, man.
Yeah, we appreciate you,
so
man.
Thankful that you're here.
Excited to be here. We got people just going here. We got Be the Bean. Yeah, that's right.
That's right. Be the Bean.
Be the Bean.
Be the Bean.
We got this week, man. People are loving on you, man.
Here we
you
go.
know, it says John is a straight class dude, wonderful representation of a career car guy, and an inspirational culture mover.
That's right.
Wonderful dude, and definitely is passionate about every single thing he does. I couldn't agree more, my friends, and that's why I had to spill a bean. I'm excited. I'm a little bit more excited than you think, folks. I'm telling you, I'm over here just like ready to go with the show, bro. I really am. So thanks for being here, man. I know that you're all the way down in sunny Florida, right?
Oh yeah.
Yes, Orlando, Florida.
That's right. Enjoying that life. I'm down there all the time. Next time I'm down, we got to connect, go out to dinner or something. But you know, you work at a store that's just doing some amazing things. You guys have a great staff. I've seen you really push your sales staff to do some really cool things. I've seen guys, just young men, just killing it at your store, having fun while they're doing it, all the way to the veteran guys have been doing it forever, being part of the fun, the culture of what's going on, man. So congratulations to you on that. We appreciate you for being here on that. But dude, Lou, before we go anywhere,
we need to do it. We got Eric over here shouting out for the Eagles. Okay.
I
knew it.
Right now.
I knew at some point he was going to say it. I mean, hey, you got forgive, focus, fly, Eagles, fly. So he is partially right. We're flying tonight.
That's right.
That's right. We're gonna forgive, focus, and fly tonight on the show. That's the way that we get our 5-liner kicked off. We wipe off the weight of unforgiveness. We focus on what we're doing, who we can help, and what we need to do, and we stretch out in faith, and we fly, and we keep growing. We keep growing. We keep growing. And that's what we're going to do. So excited to finally get some footage of you forgive, focusing, and flying. Let's have a good time to do that. Car guys, car gals watching, or if you're driving, if you're listening to this on the replay, go ahead and hit the forgive, focus, fly with us on 3. Go ahead. Hands on the shoulders one time. Forgive, focus, fly on 3. 1, 2, 3. Forgive. Focus.
Fly. And keep growing, bro.
Growing.
Let's go. Man, I wish I had our machine right now. We would be hitting that.
There we go.
He's in here talking about he is awesome. He's the best.
He is.
You know, and I agree once again. And then nothing but fires from Terrence.
That's right.
Richie Bello. Richie Bello says, I love John Labate. Right? So
I love you too, Richie.
What's up, Richie? What's going on, bro? Appreciate you.
Richie from Shop Smart Autos.
One of our great sponsors, folks. Pay attention to what's going on.
Coming from them down into the show. Keep watching, everybody. But we have an incredible guest, John. Seriously, we've been watching. We've been seeing. So many people in the industry have been seeing that you keep creative on a daily. You also push the envelope of how it could look to be in this car business and have a great time doing it. Everything from the wigs to the shoes, you know what I mean? To every piece of it, you weave together to have a good time, right? And that's what we want to make sure people recognize is you can fully be you in this business and have a great time doing it. And brother, you are the epitome of a Car Guy Coffee 100% CGC approved solutionary. And we love seeing you do that, but you have fun, which is a key component, man. It's a key component. I mean, you're having the time of your life, or is that just show?
No. Oh no. It's all for fun, man. I can't believe that you picked up on that, Lou. You know, it's I try to set the example of having fun. You know, I try to show my salespeople what's possible. I even try to show my Facebook friends other business owners. You know what I mean? I like doing stuff to just say, hey, you know, look at this. You're in real estate. You're in, pavers. do something funny, get some attention, make some noise. You know, I love it.
Look at you got, of course. Look at, hey boss, I got a deal.
Hey boss, I got a deal.
Right?
Hey, boss, I got a deal.
From social media, that what he does, right? But that's something that's in your blood. This is what you did when you were new in the business, probably all the way to the day you stopped moving metal as on the floor, right? So what I love about that is that you pass that down to your guys, and they're starting to understand that feeling. That just strikes up a nerve. But what fun is that? And you know, when you put that onto your social media posts, you make it even more fun. Man, there's so many people just throwing love at you, man. You are a love guy.
Thank you, guys. All right, I appreciate it, Dr. Labate. If some of my nicknames start coming up here, man, I'm gonna have to warn you guys already.
Nickname.
You got the nickname. Drop them in, right? We'll keep that going.
Nicknames.
There's Rebate Labate. There's Low Gross Johnny. There's Give 'em Away Johnny. You know, there's they definitely Mr. Rebate Labate was a popular one.
The name didn't come from me, but I always
every rebate. I used every rebate, man. Every rebate known to man that you could possibly, if you had a business and a military and I did actually a TikTok one time where it's just a guy comes in and he comes in for the $10,000, you know, or the 10,000 off on the Ram, and he's like, yeah, all right, well, were you in the military? Yes. Were you a high school track star? Yes. American Indian? And they're staring at each other, and I'm like, no, you don't qualify. But I used to use rebates. Now there hasn't been rebates in years now, you know.
What are those? I don't think I've heard of it. Oh,
but you can come back. You can make a comeback.
We're gonna make a comeback.
I see a whole lot coming with that. Heck yeah. But let's go ahead and get this show underway. We have this 5-liner that are out there supporting John right now and seeing this go down. Know that there's so much that's awesome about him, but we're going to go ahead and extract some of the key components of this incredible Solutionaries journey. So, Fred, let's go ahead and kick it off,
man. My first question. The first question is a great question. It's about you, and it's about what drives you. You know, a lot of times we see the fun that you do, the work that you've been doing, but why do you do it? I mean, I see your family. I know how beautiful your family is and how much they mean to you too, and you make that a big part of your life also. So I love that you do that. But deep down, what really pushes you? What makes John Labate do what he needs to do every single day?
Well, you certainly hit it on the head. First off, everything I do is for my family, my kids. I have 3 kids now, John, Gianni, and Sophia. I was just recently married last year, but we've been together for 7 years now, and Michelle. And so why I do what I do is trying to build an empire for my family, for the lifestyle that I want to live. I've always felt like I was destined to do big things. My ultimate dream, really, and I'll never give it up, is to be in the movies wow. I'm a movie star, man. I'm famous, but they just don't know about me yet, right? But I've just always been into. I love movies, acting, writing. You know, you wouldn't know it when you're more into the car business. I mean, the last 22 years I've been grinding it out in the car lot. But my dream started long time ago, probably 7th grade, when I did my first play. I was Gus Dupont, the greatest detective in all of France, and I was an actor in The Murders of the Rue Morgue. And I had some parts before that in middle school, but that was my first real part, and I just never really. I loved it. I loved movies and creating and acting. And so a big part of my why, not only is I do this to support my family and make the best life for myself, but I literally put stuff on. I've always used social media as, an entertainment vessel, partly to sell cars, but also literally, maybe somebody will notice me someday. Somebody will say, man, this guy be good in a movie. He'd be good in a commercial. Technically, when Facebook started, I said to myself, I'm going to do 100 videos. 2009, 2010, when I got on Facebook for the first 2008, I said, I'm going to do 100 videos, and then I'm going to convince my owner to put me on TV. That's the plan. Okay, as soon as I have 100 videos on it, well, I mean, I've hit thousands of videos now, and what I realized, a lesson I learned very early in the business is most owners aren't wanting to put your face on their commercial. You know what I mean? It's not as simple as sure, if I own the dealership, I can do all the commercials I want, but when it's somebody else, you go to Facebook. So and at the time when, like I say, you go back to 08, 09, what did you had Jackass, you had MTV, you had like these people coming up, what was Jersey Shore, you know what I mean? Reality shows were coming. So just my why, the reason that I work as hard as I do is definitely to set my family up for the future, for the lifestyle. I want to live. I want to live a 1%er lifestyle, man. Like, if I could get a plane someday, I'll pick you guys up and we'll go on a plane, take the jet to California. So, I'm trying to really do this thing. And, I've been in the business 22 years and that's part of, I think it's really cool to talk about some of these things, because part of my journey is, I started out, in my first 10 years in the business, I started in 2001. So to 2009, 2010, I was just, sales manager, general sales manager, up and up and up. And then, life hit me right in the face, and I started going through a divorce and that type of stuff. So I had some of my middle years here were a little bit of a struggle, but the one thing I came back to was selling cars, and now the last 5 years, boom, especially the last 3 years, kind of since the pandemic, it's been just a whole different ballgame. And that's kind of when a lot of my social media started really, really popping off too. I had a video go viral and kind of got a bunch of followers from that. Got a lot of I just saw the power, the immense power of some, organic reach.
Right.
Dude, and organic. And that's what's so beautiful about it. It's all organic.
All mine's organic.
Us too, and we're the same way. We go out, we push it. We don't spend any money except for in ourselves. We do our own editing. We do all that kind of stuff. And it's there's a feeling that you just say, hey, I could do this. But then you could also teach people how to do this. And then you can share. And your posts, man, they do a lot of things. And it was great. When I first started catching you was during that time too. And I started going, oh, who is this guy?
Yeah. Then, bro, come here. Look at this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Hilarious, right? So we would watch them, and we absolutely thought they were great. And then it was about a year or so ago, I had reached out to you, and I meant, and my fault.
Wow. 2 years. Dude, it was almost 3 years ago, a year or so ago. Oh, man.
Tomorrow is actually our 3 years when we first started the podcast. So
it was literally 3 years ago, Fred. You were literally, you helped me through the pandemic, man. I was home.
Wow.
I was unemployed from March of 2020 until August of 2020. And because I had gotten laid off right when COVID started. And I've been with Daytona Kia ever since August of 2020. But I was laid off 20 years in the car business. You have no idea the things that were going through my head. I'm like, okay, so this is what the car business has gotten me. This is what my 20 years that I put in has gotten me. Broke and unemployed at the most stressful, weirdest, craziest, nastiest time. Right. What sales manager, what high profile sales manager is going to get a job in the middle of the pandemic?
It was no one was hiring. No one.
And, luckily, and they didn't know it yet. That's why I kind of got clipped I was in with the Morgan Group, and it was a corporation, and they just, they didn't even know that Florida was going to stay open and continue to sell cars. They were looking at their places up north in Pennsylvania and New York shut down 80%. So they're like, listen, man, you're the newest manager here. You and this other guy, you guys, I can offer you a sales position, but you're going to have to go. Yeah. And I was like, wow, and I started I just was tough. It was a tough time for literally a couple weeks. It was ugly, man. I mean, I was praying and I mean, I should be praying more, but I tend to pray when I.
You were praying then,
Yes, I
right?
would definitely.
But I remember we would talk because I had nothing but time on my hands, Fred. I'm here all day in my house. You know what I mean? I was applying for unemployment and trying to do all that, and in the meantime, I was selling cars. I was after the initial shock, I started promoting on my Facebook that I could help people buy cars. And one of my things that I actually put on my bio, I'm pretty proud of, is that I was the #1 salesperson for West Herr Dodge Chrysler Jeep. You can ask them, you can call them up right now. For April of 2020, they were shut down 80%. And I'm in my boxers and t-shirt in Orlando, setting up test drives, having them pick up, drop off a car here, test drive, go over the numbers, what kind of car did you want? And it was all from organic Facebook, basically Facebook posts saying. And one thing I learned from, over the years, and I also mentioned that I've been through so many trainings and stuff. I mean, it's like I was thinking on the way home tonight, on the way and thinking about the show tonight, I'm like, you want to know, I'll show you my age. I was at the first digital dealer conference, man. Jim Ziegler was the keynote speaker. I was at the first one in 2003. I think it was 2003. I'm at my dealership, Doan Dodge Chrysler Jeep, Rochester, New York. I'm at my dealership. This company comes in. They said, hey, we're going to start selling cars online. We're going to do a pilot program. We really think this is going to work. Here's a cell phone that you can share with this other salesperson. And, we picked you because you seem to be blah, blah, blah. It was Auto Trader. We were a pilot dealership for Auto Trader before they even started. That's so cool. That was literally, that shows you like the days 03, right? Not everybody had a cell phone. So it was like, we'll give you your own cell phone. And
your cell phone. Whoa, son.
It was a flip, too. It was a flip with the
that was about the Razor times, right around there. Nokias and Razors.
And that's, that's another thing. I always say I had a head start on selling cars online, a huge head start, like digital retailing. I was doing eBay.
Yeah,
I was doing eBay in 03 and 04 and 05 and 06. I was setting up eBay departments in my dealerships when I got my first sales manager job in 2006. I went and I helped them set up their whole internet department in eBay. But I mean, I don't know if you've sold, any kind of substantial amount of cars on eBay or even any, but it was all over the, over emails and over the phone. There was no, you know what I mean? Oh, yeah. But it was so cool to me that I'd be like, hey, yeah, how you doing? Oh, you're in Maryland? Man, I had some clams in Maryland one time. My God, they looked like they had like appendages coming out of them. Oh man, what are you doing? I'm looking for a Challenger for my son. Okay, I got you, man. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And, I had some word tracks and things that like today kind of would sound funny, but most trainers are, like I had a line, listen, man, I know I'm in Rochester, New York, and you're in, New Zealand, but I'm going to make it like it's just like you're just next door. There's nothing, no different anybody's going to be able to do. You could be down the street from me or 1,500 miles away. You're going to get the same service. And I used to promote my service. And it's just, I love this business. That's why I get passionate about it, man. And because the thing about this business is that if you're a real person, if you're a genuine person, really care about people and want to serve people, you write your own ticket.
Right.
You write your own ticket.
It is,
there's so many fake for years, for generations. There's been so many fakes and liars and scumbag, for lack of a better term. So when you come, and that's why I love it, man. So I continue to be a real person, but and then sometimes in sales you got to explain to the customer, even if it seems, I try to tell my salespeople all the time, even if it seems redundant, and even if it's like, yeah, okay, he's going to give me the best. Yes. I'm going to give you the best experience. When you call, I'm going to answer the phone. And if you have a problem, I'm going to go to the highest person I got to take care of it. And if there's a switch in a switch, nobody's going to take care of you better than me. Nobody.
No, I believe that, man. And that's because you truly know that. And I tell that to sales staff all the time. I look at them like, who do you think is the person in the showroom right now that has the best opportunity that will actually help somebody, that wants to help somebody. And everyone's always like, it's me. So then act like it.
That's right.
Get out there and get after it. Be mad when someone else is working in deal. Be mad when you don't have a customer in front of you because you know that they should be with you. You're the one that's going to help them the most, right? So feel that way. But bro, you everything you just said there, phenomenal. I just
got chills yet? I'm trying to give you chills, man. I already had them like twice. So
I could tell you've had a great time, man. And really, right? And the things, your why, your purpose, the things that you see in automotive, the things you've been through, being part of that pilot dealership for Auto Trader, going out and doing eBay stuff before people were thinking it was hip, right? And now, it's so crazy. Now it's like it's kind of getting to the super norm now, But the cool thing is that we still haven't heard the next question.
Well,
and I can't wait because it kind of feeds into all this.
Right.
And I love it.
It flows through. And you've given us a little bit of backstory. You showed us a little bit of the tools that you brought in there and how you were breaking the mold before anybody ever recognized that there was a mold. Mm-hmm. You were already creating something that some people didn't know was going to come, right? We only were familiar with what we were familiar with. Just like our friends over at Shop Smart Autos, we're going to get to the second question right after this video. So now that we're clear, car guys, car gals, and dealers out there, if you do want 25 free leads that are VIN specific to your inventory, you might want to jump out there and go to shopsmartautos4dealers.com/carguycoffee to get you 25 VIN specific leads each and every month just for putting your inventory on the directory. You get the leads. It's
25 each and every month,
check
folks.
them out.
25 leads.
Our friend Bellows making big things happen for the industry, just like John. And inside of that, there's a lot of backstory, folks. And a lot of us have a very similar one. But John, we need to know, what is it that brought you to automotive?
I hope you're ready for this one, man.
Come on.
Am I loud? Am I loud? How's my volume? It's all right.
You sound fantastic, man.
So, my sales career began a long time ago, but I guess pretty much everything began for me in about 7th grade. But back in 7th grade, I started selling blow pops with a friend of mine that we found out we could get them for 5 or 6 cents from the grocery store and sell them for a quarter. I was like, you got to be kidding me. This is like 3, 4, 5 times our money, and we would sell blow pops. I would walk around the school with like a big wad of cash on me and, like singles and stuff. And like there was some competition. Sometimes we get blow pops from them on loan for the next day. And, it just, I was starting businesses just like when I was in 8th grade, we started making necklaces. So I'm going back to I was graduated in 93. So this is 89, this is 88. So we started making these beaded necklaces. You could take fishing wire and put beads on them. And, and like late 80s, early 90s, they were kind of cool to have like a blue and red, you like the Dallas Cowboys and blue and white. And then you had, African colors were cool. And so we started making necklaces. Well, boom. So I'm selling necklaces. Then we got into clay beads, and I was baking clay in the oven. I had 3 or 4 of my friends. I had businesses, like multiple businesses, and I still played sports and stuff too. And I actually won a scholarship for junior achievement in 11th grade. I was in this group called Junior Achievement, where you start a business, and they couldn't decide what business to start. And I was like, well, we're going to sell something for sure. Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, I've been selling these necklaces for years. You know what I mean? We could start our own. So they were like, well, tell us more. And next thing you know, there was like 30 kids in the class. I was the president of the company. The company was called Bead It, like a bead, Bead It.
Okay. I like it.
We decided, everybody put in $1, I think, for their share. And And we bought supplies, we made the necklaces, we went to trade shows, we sold them, whatever. And it was like a month or 2 month long program. It wasn't very long, probably like 6 or 8 different classes. And at the end of it, they're like, well, you got $2 back per share, everybody got $1. Here's $2 back. And I was like, so mad, I was like, damn it. I wanted these guys to make like $50 per share,
Right.
Well, little did I know that was like the best results that they had in like the last 8 years with the program. You know what I mean? Like they were like, well, you doubled their money. Are you kidding me? And everybody had fun. And so they gave me like a little $2,500 scholarship that I never used. But so I've always been into sales. I've always been a leader. And this is where we're going to get a little raw here, okay? Because after high school, I went to college, tried out community college. Wasn't that great. My 21st birthday, I packed my car up and I moved down to, guess where? Orlando, Florida.
Yeah.
I forget what year it would have been, 1996. I moved down to here and I discovered the rave scene and partying. Yeah, I loved it. And, when you got a real good salesman, and you're out in this new scene where there's these new, all this new stuff coming around. So I became a major drug dealer in 6 months time. I had no idea, didn't see it coming. But I, just went from one, it just every single week and weekend, it got bigger and bigger and bigger. And then I got busted and I had to do some time. It was federal time that it was my first offense. I'm not, a criminal or anything, career person, but I was shocked. I was like, I got to do time, whatever. So whatever. Long story. We'll fast forward through that whole part, but I was a major distributor. It was ecstasy was the big thing back then.
That's what I was picking up what you were putting down.
Right. So here we go. How did I get in automotive? March 25th of 2001, I got out of prison. I had to go to, I was sentenced for 40 months. I had to do about 2 years and I was getting released, going into a halfway house. And for years leading up to that, I was in the restaurant business. My father had a restaurant. I was in the hotel business and, I was a waiter. I was a waiter, sales and, the sales background. And I remember, so I was putting an application in the basement of the Hyatt Hotel to be room service or waiter. And my dad looks over at me. My dad sold cars. My dad's a promoter. He sold cars for many years, 20-something years. So I grew up in that business. And he looks over. He's got his phone in his hand. And he looks over at me. He's like, John, hey, he said, what about selling cars? I'm like at the Hyatt with the clipboard of my application in my hands. I just got out of jail. And I mean, I wasn't planning on ever going back there. So it wasn't like I just got out of jail and I'm trying to, do illegal things again. I mean, I was like, let's go. I'm ready to put my heart and soul into anything that's legal from here on in. And he goes, well, it's 2 birds with 1 stone, right? You need a car and you need a job. And at the time, the dealership that he used to work at gave you a demo.
Yeah, buddy.
So he's like, you need a car and you need a job. And that's literally the last thing I ever remember hearing before I got in this profession was you need a car and you need a job. Let's go. So 2001, March 25th was the day I got out. April 1st, April Fool's Day of 2001. So within 5 days was my first day selling cars.
Wow.
April 1st of 2001. So my dad was, like I say, there's we have some legends in the car business in Rochester, New York.
Yes.
A lot of people don't realize, but my dad worked for a place called J. Scuddy, well, he worked for Scuddy Pontiac. And the guy that owned it, his name was Jay Scuddy. This guy, like, if he was around today, he would probably be like, oh man, I don't know, sub in somebody that owns a lot of dealerships. You know what I mean? Like he was just like Billy Fusillo. Okay. He was probably like a Billy Fusillo, but rest in peace. And he invented, this guy is single-handedly invented, maybe some people don't like to hear this, but selling cars on Sundays. They never used to, he was the pioneer of selling cars on Sundays. And he also had a restaurant. Yeah, he also had a restaurant in his dealership that they would serve eggs and stuff like that. He was a car guy, pioneer times a million. He was awesome. And he knew a lot of big celebrities too. Almost like I say, if they had the cameras back then, he would have been a reality show probably. But that's where my dad came from. So
that's awesome.
For me I kind of grew up with that. And then, so, I applied for that. And as soon as I started to realize, like, put 2 and 2 together, my dad, knew a lot of people. And so there was a trait that I took after him. I mean, my dad is one of those guys, like, you will inevitably say when you're around him, or if you were to go around Roch, man, this guy knows a lot of people, right? He's that guy. And so I esteem to be that guy. So here I am starting in automotive, and I'm like, well, I'm going to just sell cars to everybody I know. And I'm just going to start boop, 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 sell cars to everybody I know. And I really took to it, amazingly. And here's the funny thing. Not that funny. It's actually the opposite of funny. It's totally the opposite of funny. So I really have to have a different word. But what other event happened in 2001? So I started in April of 2001.
Oh, we all know what happened. Yeah,
the third, probably the second or third biggest event that's happened to us since the pandemic and in our business, to affect our business, right? 9/11. And so I'm in the business 4 or 5 months. That's why I was so mad during COVID that I was out of a job, not being able to help salespeople through this stressful time. You know what I mean? Like, I was so pissed because I'm like, I was shaped. The song could come on from TikTok. What's that? Some people are afraid of the dark. I was born in it. You know what I mean? Like, my first 4 or 5 months of selling cars was boom, that thing happened. Mm-hmm. And it affected us hugely. Like, the next day, Hyundai came out with 0% for 72 months for the first time ever. And
wow, I remember that.
So, but I started on that. I went through the 08, Monaster, and I've been through this COVID thing. So, but yeah, so that's what brought me to automotive was at the time it was just to get a job, but I knew very, 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 very soon that it was something that I wanted to do. Oh, that's what I was also going to say is that not only, so, I'm a friendly guy. I know a lot of people. I'm a salesman at heart, right? So I'm like, wow, what a perfect business for me to be in. And then on top of that, I played a lot of sports in high school. I wasn't the star of any of them, but I'm 6'4", 300 pounds. I played everything from football, basketball, baseball, golf, wrestling. I mean, I didn't care. I was on the golf team. I love sports. And then I get in this business and I'm like, wait a minute. Cause you get out of high school, you get out of college, you're like, man, I am not going to compete no more. You know what I mean? Like, what am I? And dude, I'm like, dude, you can compete in this. I could be the star quarterback back to, you know what I mean? I could be anybody I want to be. And I was just like hell bent on being successful and just running so far away from the person that I left that did the illegal things and embarrassed himself and his family and whatever else.
I mean, dude, I just gotta say that's a hell of a story.
Wow.
And that, that right there, that was a big why for you when you got out. I was like, I'm not going back to that, I've literally worked with a lot of guys that are phenomenal at this job, have great careers in this business, and they had a little checkered past with something similar, right? And not quite like that, but definitely something like that, right? But because of that, they didn't ever want to go back to that, right. So they yearned for more. But the sports side, and I want to touch on that for a second. That sports side, being an athlete and being competitive in sports, usually you don't have to be the greatest, but you're still competitive. And when you're in that thing, getting into this business, that does help. It really does, man, because you have to be that way. A lot of people are like, well, I don't want to go catching up because I want my team members. That's bull crap. That means, what does that mean? I'm like, whoa, hold on a second. I hear that. I understand, but I don't understand that because I love I love
Millennial alert. Millennial alert.
I'm gonna go catch that up and sell it and not give me half his commissions because I want it. So I'm gonna go catch that up myself, right? So it's like never gonna allow that to happen. But anyway, it does. It takes that type of a person to be able to be, I say, in the top 2-3% of the automotive, right? If you're not like that, you're probably not gonna last in this business long because it's a thick-skinned business. You have to be ready for it, you know. And there's so much, but it's not really that bad when you're that type of person. And that's what's amazing about it, you know. And along the way, you talked about a lot of great people. Your father, man, that's so great that he was here. Hey, John, what about the car business?
Said, you didn't just get a job, right? You didn't just get the job. You got the car too. You came in for both, got them both. I mean,
literally said those words.
But, you know, speaking of, you know, those type of people, I'm sure there's been some mentors along the way for you. You know, you're being a mentor to many, you know, and whether you know it or not, there's people who probably look at what you're doing and they're mentored by that. Mm-hmm. But to you along the way, who have been some of your greatest mentors?
Well, I actually had made a list of them because when I cheated and watched the other 5-liner, you know, I saw you were going to ask me about my mentors, and I kind of gave you a sneak peek. One of my biggest mentors is my father. He's you know, there were many years where he was not only selling cars at the dealership, but he was a promoter in the music business. So he would be booking national tours with bands and festivals and stuff, and, you know, on the phone with that and selling his cars. I mean, it's tough if you were to do that today, but it's just the type of guy my dad was and is that, you know, he's around his buddies on the car. Carl, come back. You know, they say, just come on back to the dealership. You sell your 10, 12 cars and book your shows, and we want you back, you know. Yeah. And but so my dad's one of my mentors. One of my other biggest mentors is Mike Dashner, which is my first general manager, I guess. Well, not my first, but I mean, when I started, after I think about 6 months or so after I started, he became my general manager, and he's a great guy. Okay. I'll tell you who Mike Dashner is. Mike Dashner is the general manager, or was. He's at a different store now. He was the general manager at Herr Dodge Chrysler Jeep in April of 2020, where I was the number 1 salesperson. So you talk. Because I called him and I leaned on him, and I was like, I remember one day, Fred, I'm gonna sell. I'm gonna do some posts. I'm gonna sell some cars online. And he's like, all right, well, let's do it. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, let's do it. So let's work a deal. And I was like, you know, he's always been there to kind of click me to like, yeah, I mean, how long are we going to talk about this? You know what I mean? Call me every day, like, you know, crying in my ear that you're not selling cars. What are you going to do? Should you stay in the business? How's it going? Joking around. You know, he's like, let's just do one. And I was like, it's funny because I was kind of like frozen for a second. I'm like, Jesus, how? And I didn't know how. And you know, here's me 20 years in business, but I guess it was in that initial shock of like, you know, I was crying in my, you know, I was feeling so sorry for myself that I just forgot the basics. And he literally was like, let's just wing it, man. Let's just, you know, you find somebody who wants a car, you call me and I'll work the numbers. So I'm like, yeah, okay, you're right. Like that's how shell shocked my mind was during that time, where it was like the whole world. Hold my hand. Easy time. So, and he was my first general manager.
Right on.
And the reason why he became a mentor so much to me is that probably 2003 or 2004, right around the middle of that, right? I was selling cars. I was number 1, number 2, or number 3 on the board every month for my first couple of years. I was top 3 at least. It was always fighting for top of the board, many times top of the board and stuff. And I was starting to get showing up late. And I think I was going through planning a wedding and stuff. It was one of my worst years selling cars because I was planning a wedding. Well, anyways, he brought me in the office and he was like, listen, you got to decide. He had told me he was going to fire me if I was late again. And I was late again. So he goes, all right, listen, you heard what I told you the last time. So he goes, you got to decide. You're really good at this. but you got to decide this. You're treating this like a job, and you tell me all the time, and you have aspirations of treating like this like a career, and you could be really good, but you have really got to decide, are you gonna use your talents and do this, and do what I know you can do, or are you just gonna be 5 minutes late every other day? I'm gonna fire you, and you're gonna, who knows what happens to you. And it was a big turn. There was a little more exchange there, but it was a big turning point for me, because I was like, man, he's right. Like, I've been, because I had that initial time where I was really good leading the board, and then I just kind of got to the top 3, and I kind of coasted, and some I may have a 6-car month, then I may have a 16-car month. You know what I mean? I was going back, but I wasn't that 18, 20, 22, 25, 36 every month like I turned to be after that conversation. So he was a huge mentor for me. When I became a sales manager, and he still is a mentor, it's like I say, he helped me through the pandemic. When I became a sales manager, Jim Ziegler, big mentor of mine, I have the lifetime, and I always remind him of this too, but I have his training course for sales manager, free, lifetime. That's what he used to advertise when he do his training. I was like, really? Lifetime free? What I didn't realize is that, and he does, you come free anytime I do sales manager. But what I didn't realize, I got to a new dealership and I was like, hey, Jim, I'm going to come for the thing. And he's like, all right, who are you bringing with you? You know what I mean? It was like, no problem. You're free for your lifetime. And so I went to a couple other dealerships and brought the new managers with me. And I still, to this day, I still have things that I remember from him. Every deal's got a heartbeat. The feel of the wheel seals the deal. Hit, commit. When you're penciling, hit, commit. That don't pencil whip them. I used to love one of his lines. I don't want to mess it up right now, but it's such a smooth line. He's like, the customer is like, here it is, sir. It's $600 a month. $600 a month? What do you think? I'm stupid? No, sir. But in the event that you were, I didn't want to miss the opportunity. that wasn't one to use on your customers.
Right. No, but it was fun to talk. It was fun. It was fun. Yeah, dude, I love those things.
But so he Jim Ziegler is a mentor. Also, Jonathan Dawson. I would have to give a shout out to Jonathan Dawson. He's a great guy. He came to a dealership. Also, I can't forget John and Tony Gabrielli, who were I worked for Dashner, my first mentor, for the first 5 years of my career as a salesperson. The last couple of years, I had wanted to be a sales manager, but they wouldn't promote me. They kept bringing other people in, and they didn't want to lose a top sales guy, that type of thing. So I had to actually leave that dealership and go to another dealership that gave me my first start as a sales manager at their Mitsubishi store, and that's John and Tony Gabrielli. And then through them, they had hired this guy, Jonathan Dawson, at the time, like, who's this new guy, Jonathan Dawson, and all this stuff. And he became a great friend of mine. He actually got me a job, an awesome job in 2018, my dream job at the time as a sales manager at a Landmark Dodge in Atlanta. And I tried to make it work to be working out there and move the whole family. It didn't work out, but and then last but not least, okay, my biggest mentor. This is what makes me so lucky. One of my biggest mentors I sit next to every day. My general manager, one of my best friends, Jerome Kramer. He literally is a mentor to me. We're in Daytona. We're at Daytona Kia, but I have followed him. I followed him to a dealership in Melbourne. When I was in New York, he called me down. And so we come from Rochester, New York. We come from some of the same dealerships. So we've always had kind of like these parallel careers. I remember when I got my first sales manager job in Rochester, New York, I was 30 years old, right? And at the time, it was 16 years ago. At the time, that was pretty young. Like I wanted to be a sales manager in my 20s, but I didn't make it. I was 30 exactly when I started. And I remember walking around one day and I go, man, I'm the youngest sales manager in Rochester. I was like, man, because it was mostly old guys. And they're like, no, you're not. I was like, what? Yeah, Jerome Kramer. He's like 26 and he already owns half a dealership and stuff, whatever. I was like, what? And that's who is this guy, Jerome Kramer? I got to find him. I got to see him. I got to meet him. And we met at a car show. And I go look over, and he's got like a snakeskin suit on, man. He had like a shiny suit, and he had a yellow Corvette. I mean, this guy, you know what? He's Shaka Dyson, right? You guys know Shaka Dyson.
Okay.
So Grant Cardone, 2019, when he was doing his big conference, right? I don't know if he had Shaka Dyson on it or somebody else from the car business, but Jerome Kramer is such a big name in our business, but not big in the sense of like everybody knows about him, but the people that matter know about him. That Grant Cardone actually called somebody from his office, called him in 2019 to say, would you like to, could you talk about the financing in the car business and be a part of it? And then they even mentioned at the time, he had no idea who Shaka Dyson. I knew through Dawson, but they go, we've talked to, maybe him, Shaka Dyson. He goes, I don't know who the hell Shaka Dyson is. He doesn't, he's very self-made. He's a wonderful guy. Anyways.
Awesome, man.
So he's strong, and he's always been, we crossed paths then he called me down in Melbourne, and then finally he pulled me out of the house out of COVID from August of 2020, and I sit next to him to this day.
That's amazing.
The reason why he's such a huge mentor to me is that I've been 22 years in this business. For 19 and a half years, I had a giveaway mindset. I didn't have a gross mindset. He has taught me the gross mindset. When we were coming up, I was always, I was known as a guy that could hit big numbers and bring stores, break records, for volume and these numbers. And he was the guy known as like, how does he make so much money on every deal? And so, subprime hero over here, he was huge in subprime, and he was huge in subprime in the late 90s and early 2000s. Like he was like teaching banks how to do it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
He's been a finance mind. He literally was on the floor for three months when he started in this business, and then went to finance. It was just a unique story. It was a small store. Well, kind of similar, I think, to what you guys sometimes have going on, is that you're wearing all these different hats. You know what I mean? And he did that. So he came up with a gross mindset and finance background. My whole parallel career was, I wanted nothing to do with finance. I could care less about it. But again, now in Florida, it's a whole different ballgame. But in New York, some places still do it. They make the deal at the desk regardless of credit. You go into the finance department after they make the deal. I know it's crazy. It's crazy, and that's how I was brought up on. So my point is that the reason why not only he's a good friend, but he's hired me here. We're opposites, right? So I was the volume guy, super salesman. I tell you how to sell a car on eBay, on Facebook, on this, on that. And he was the quiet finance manager, big gross, and knew how to structure a deal. Just his philosophy is literally, ask for all the money all the time. You're worth it. You know what I mean? You're yes. And
that was my first mentor. That's how he taught me the game. It was like, if you don't ask for it, then how are you gonna get it?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, and I get that, but at the same time, he taught us how to deliver such a great service that you got it every time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And that was the key. But respect, man, that you see that, and that you found that with somebody else, and you found the balance with him, man, that's amazing, bro. And to have mentors like that along the way, you name drop a lot of great people there.
I mean, incredible people
that I look up to.
And also, wait, I almost forgot one of my other ones. I want to do an impression of him. Okay. You got to guess who it is. All right, guys, we're gonna move. We're going to Miami, Brooklyn. Okay, we're going. He's gonna sell some cars.
You talking about L?
Rudy.
Rudy. I love it.
Yo.
These are my El Patrons, I call them, bro.
Yeah,
They're
hey, you got
my
it.
mains, right?
I knew exactly what you're talking about.
Good job. Oh,
We're going down to Miami.
yes.
We're bringing it down to
Miami.
Miami. We're doing big
You make the rounds
things.
you want, give me a call. Come on.
No, I will. I have to credit El Patron for definitely. We had a lot of conversations. Like I say, during that COVID time, I was literally home all day talking to anybody, anything car related. I just was eating it up. And
why not? What there was so much education during that time if you took it, right? There was a lot. You remember how many Facebook lives that were going on with education, people were getting together. That was like the most. If you took the time during that time, there was an opportunity. And I saw it, you saw it. That's why you're at where you're at right now, where we're at right now. And there's still opportunity because the people who did it then are way ahead of the game and they're still doing it. And just know that things are still not perfect. You know, we just went through that pandemic, but then we just went through a chip shortage. We went through a used car shortage. We went through values of used cars going crazy. Now they're dropping again. Interest rates are going higher than they've ever been in decades, it feels like, you know. So we're going through it all. But the great news is that there's people like you at dealerships to guide guys through it and seeing, hey, we've seen it. We know what it's like. It's going to be all right. You just got to put the work in and have fun and have lots of fun doing it. Right, Lou?
That's right. Making sure that you do the things that bring you joy. Whether or not joy is being brought to you, somebody's got to be the one that brokers it. And you kept yourself still committed to be able to have people feed your ear, even inside of a dark spot of uncertainty, which is really what so many people went through. So many people went through that, right? And the thing is that once we came through all that, we said it even then. Hey, guess what? There's going to be another challenge next year, everybody. And guess what? The year after that, there's going to be another challenge, okay? There's going to be something that's going to make you have to dig deeper than you've dug before to pull out better quality gold, whatever you're reaching in for from yourself. And you're doing that now. That's why we're so excited to be able to team up with you to see you take Car Guy Coffee to the next level, for you to be able to show what it looks like, caffeinating the culture out there with originality, right? We want the good quality beans. You can't fake a good cup of coffee, all right? And with that, that's what you're doing, right? And with that, though, there's a lot of hills, there's a lot of dirt that we got to dig through in order to actually cultivate something that does yield a good crop. With that, we get some hard lessons in the in-between. So for you, John, what has been the hardest lesson? I mean, you've been put up, you've been put out and laid off. You've been through a lot. Out of all that, what has been the hardest lesson?
The hardest lesson for me was, I actually kind of already alluded to it there. I just feel like there's a glare here, but I already kind of touched a little bit on it. But the hardest lesson for me was really to shift my mindset to the gross mindset. You know, I can't stress it enough. It makes me, I feel a little awkward talking about it sometimes because, I love sharing stuff out. I love communicating with everybody, just blanketing, hey, maybe watch this, you'll get some car tips. Watch this, you'll get some how to buy a car tips. Watch this, you'll learn how to sell a car. But when you start talking about gross, and this is on my Facebook, and I'm like, it's my customers and my friends and family are on there and stuff, but I'm not afraid to talk about it but I guess for a while it's almost like, profit is not a dirty word. I'm serious, man. I've been in the business for 22 years and for 19 years spanning 13 as a sales manager and 14 as sales manager, whatever, my math as a 5 years as a salesperson. I did not have a gross mindset. And so, yeah, it's easy to say I gave away cars, right? But I had a mentality that I thought I was helping I thought I was helping the salesperson. Hey man, he made a quick deal. That was easy, right? You got him first pencil. Yeah, what do we make, boss? Well, it's a mini. What do you mean it's a mini? Well, he came in off the internet, did he? No, that was the last guy or whatever, whatever reason. You could imagine how many different ones, but I had that mindset I wanted to make the sale. I wanted volume. So I wanted to make the sale easy for the salesperson. I wanted to make it easy for the customer. I wanted to make it easy, for the manufacturer to keep giving us more you know what I mean? I thought I was making everything easy, but really now in retrospect, I was making it a lot harder on myself, because all those deals, like I literally, and you guys know, I mean, any dealership you're at, there's a gross guy, usually like a gross guy and a volume guy. And the gross guy is always messing with the volume guy. Like, dude, why are you giving these cars away? You know what I mean? You didn't have to do that. So the guy says he thinks his trade's worth 10. It's really worth 7, but you got to start out at 9 because you're scared he's going to be mad. You know what I mean? Like that's stuff I used to do. I got to admit it. And when you have a salesperson that comes to you and is like, hey boss, I got a deal. Hey boss, I got a deal, man. We got a great one here. Boom, boom, boom. This guy, yeah, all right, 5,000 for the trade. Boop, boop, boop. What'd we make? Oh man, it's a mini, dude. Like I didn't understand it then. Now I understand it, where it's like, boom, boom, boom. First pencil. What we make? What I make? $2,400. You know what I mean? Now, the time frame, hardest lesson I ever learned. The time frame is very unique. Okay, because I'm sitting next to my buddy and my mentor Jerome, and he is very gross mindset, to the point where I knew if I didn't have my gross average up to a certain amount, I wouldn't be working next to him very long. He wasn't gonna just allow me to run on his coattails anymore. So what happened was, because I still remember, one of my other sales managers just reminded me the other day. He's like, I remember summer of 2020 where I had to tell you, John, you can give a soul away. Don't give these Tellurides away. He had to kind of peel me back of it. Like, hold on a second. You know what I mean? You're making $500, $200 on a Telluride. Wait a minute, And so here's the time frame, right? 2020, summer of 2020, we saw where the market was going. We didn't, everybody didn't know, is this going to continue? Are we going to get another wave? What about Omicron? Whatever, right? So I'm telling you guys, December 29th, 30th, my resolution time, I literally said this, because here's the thing. I love Jerome. He's one of my best friends. He's my mentor. I've known him 20 plus years. He is not a teacher. He will not teach you. You have to copy him. You have to just, what I'm saying? I finally realized, and he jokes about it. He's like, you think I'm going to teach you what I do? Then why do they need me? And he's that kind of sense of humor, but he truly is not the guy that's going to be like, John, now look, you see, if you go to this bank and they'll give you $2,000 more, and then he just not going to do it. So long story short, my hardest lesson, New Year's Eve for 2021, the brink of 2021, I said to myself, John, he's not going to teach you. I don't care if the guy goes to the bathroom 3 times a day, follow him in the bathroom. Do everything the exact same way that he does it. Watch. I don't care if he's like, what are you looking at? Watch every stroke he puts on the keyboard. You know what I mean? And I did. And again, I'm talking about car sales 3.0 here, because I already know, I know 1.0 and 2.0. I already know how to sell a car, how to desk a deal, and even kind of how to get a deal bought. But that gross mindset and the way that he structures the deal, and I didn't go from an angle of trying to learn. I just went from an angle of copying him, imitating him. So now he leaves the building, I'm him. You know what I mean? I did everything like he did. And it's funny how coincidental it is that market adjusted, right? Perfect timing, because I just started doing a good imitation of him in January. In February, I started getting a little better. Well, then the market turned to you couldn't give cars away. You couldn't possibly, like, you'd have to look at the 6 cars you had left on your lot, you know what I mean? And like literally get pointed at when you walk in, because this guy was going to make 10,000 off the one you just sold for $1,600 or whatever. So it was perfect timing. And then 2021 was such an amazing year. And so my hardest lesson to learn was the understanding the growth mindset, starting from, and it's funny because I used to tell him, I'd be like, I do it. I remember in 2019, he asked me, we're in Melbourne. He's like, why aren't you starting from the top every time? Like I told you, I was like, I am. What do you mean? He's like, oh, you are? And I was like, yeah. Well, I'm doing it while he's around there, but there were a couple deals, even 20, a couple deals, he'd leave for the night, and I'm going back to starting from 500 under invoice, whatever, right? Well, stupid me, I didn't realize. I realized it, years later in 2021. I was like, Jesus, because now I'm in that mentality and I'm looking at other deals.
Yeah, dude.
It's not hard for him to look at a deal and see I started at invoice, or 500 below invoice. You know what I mean? He's like, dude, if you were doing the following, I mean, we had an addendum too, but at least MSRP, but we had an addendum on top of that. Small addendum, like $24.95 or whatever for, the package. This was in 2019. The addendums got crazier this last couple of years, but, he's like, if you were doing the way I'm doing it, so every one of your deals would be started at that. I don't care if you gave him 10,000 for a $5,000 trade, but you're not going to tell me you're going to go back and switch to under invoice and then do his trade. You know what I'm saying? Like, he could see basically on the numbers that I was like, how did you know? And so I finally got it. And again, I got it at a time when we were all forced. So it was like, literally, I was mad at the car gods in 2020, but the car gods touched me from the heavens in 2021 and said, buddy, you're gonna have to pick a different profession if you don't want to give cars away in this market, because it just ain't happening. You're gonna piss off everybody. Yeah. And now, if you averaged out, he hates to hear this. I don't even mention it to him, but he's very competitive. But if you averaged out 2020 to present day, my average, I beat him in every category, used and new. Now, I will give him a little defense that he sells more cars than me, especially from 2020. He's got like probably 1,000 or 800 more cars than me over that 3-year period, So, of course, he's going to be lower, but I beat him in gross average, new and used.
Yeah. Come on. Now who's the volume and the gross guy? I'm just saying, bro, right?
And he, like, basically, I say he cloned. It's like he cloned me. You know what I mean? It's always, that's what every GM wants, is somebody they can leave with the dealership.
Look at the beautiful.
Hey. This is little Gianni.
Hey, Gianni.
See, he's a boy. He's got long hair, but he's a boy.
I love his hair. I got long hair too. Look. Twins.
You got long hair? Who's got long hair? Oh, yeah. Look, Fred's got long hair, Gianni. Look at him. He's got it in a ponytail. Oh, what do you got there? You got your toy? Look at how long his hair is, man. Look at it. Whoa.
What's going on? Oh, dude. Damn. You just got better hair than me. I'm putting my hat back on. I'm jealous of you. That's some good hair right there.
Nate, can you take him to do the iPad? I'm still finishing up. Okay. All right. So, anyways, that's my beautiful wife and my baby also. That's Michelle.
Hello.
But basically, I'll bring them in the other room. I'll be right with you guys. But basically, what I was saying is that, so the mindset, I never could understand it. It was the biggest lesson, my favorite lesson by far, because here I am in this business and I've got the charm, I got the smile, I got the lines, I can talk to anybody, I can, persuasion, product knowledge, experience, but I never had, it was literally the missing piece for me. And knowing what I know now and knowing the capabilities I have now, sometimes in the last 5 years before I got to Daytona Kia, I kind of wondered why sometimes maybe I wasn't as respected or as sought after as I thought I was, because here I am putting all these big numbers out. You know, he even said to me, because I hopped around quite a bit from like 2015 to 2019. I mean, literally, I've worked at 20 dealerships and 12 of them were in that time period. You know what I mean? Like there was, and he even said to me, he's like, you think if you were making, you know, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 a deal, you think any of them dealers would ever let you go anywhere? You know what I mean? And I'm not saying, you know. So that was my hardest lesson was finally learning that gross mindset, and it's been the missing piece to me. So now I love it. You know, it's so much better when you have a deal, especially with a salesperson, because they get so excited, especially if they close on the first pencil.
That's the biggest reason.
Nothing deflates them.
Us as leaders, we're gonna always do well, but when you see them doing really well, man, buying cars and living life and doing things that are amazing, and you said it very early in that profit is not a bad word.
It's not.
You know, at the end of the day, here's the deal. He said gross. He didn't say rip people off. There's a difference, right. You know, and there's a way to it. If the customer is treated right and they're willing to pay the price and we ask for it, there's nothing wrong with that. And you customers agree. I think there's a lot of customers that know, and I've sold, that come to me and said, hey, I know I'm paying more here, but I wouldn't buy a car anywhere else. Right. You know, there's an experience that they get. You know, it's just like coffee. You can go to one coffee shop to another and they're so much more expensive. Starbucks. Go get a Starbucks. You're spending $6 at Starbucks. Is that coffee really that much better than the coffee you can make at home? No, it's not.
Not at all.
Is that you pay for the experience. They write your name on the cup. People love that. They put down what you want inside your drink. It's an experience. So we do the same for them. We give you all an experience that's above all, and they're willing to pay for that experience. Just like delivering cars to people online. They'll pay more for that sometimes because it's convenient for them. So we got to remember that. And gross is great. I love gross. I'm a gross guy myself. I love volume too, but it's about the gross at the end of the day. It's how I get paid. So, but everybody gets paid. But you know, it's a beautiful thing, and it really, you know, hearing that, man, and really knowing that's a lesson that you learned. And some people would never admit that, and I love that, and I think it's great of you to say that, because there's a lot of things that we all have room for improvement in, right? And that's a beautiful thing. But as we grow, and we've learned about your why, man, and what a great why. So many layers to that. We talked about what got you in the industry and how you started, and the things that you've done before that actually gave you taught you and gave you the confidence to say, hey, I can do this, right? So I'm gonna get in here. Then you got in the industry, you had mentors along the way. You named a lot of great mentors, and you know, the most recent one sitting right next to you every single day, helping you get to what your hardest lesson learned so far is, to help you be able to develop gross profit. And man, now that you have that tool in your arsenal, let's talk about your greatest reward. You've done a lot of great things in this industry. You've had some stuff come to you. What has been your greatest reward for all the 22 years of this industry that you've done?
My greatest reward, I mean, just really to have family would be, I guess, can I answer family for my why and my greatest reward?
Yes, absolutely.
This is your show, baby.
Bro.
This is the John Labate brew, okay? And it totally makes sense that it's full cycle that way.
You know, when I growing up, I didn't think much about like family. I mean, I did, but like I wasn't a teenager or like in my early 20s thinking, oh, you know, I'm going to get married someday and have kids and have a home and a house. And excuse me, that wasn't like really top of my list, you know? But I'm so glad that I, you know, have my son, and I was married at one point. Then unfortunately, that relationship ended, and so lucky and happy that I met Michelle and 7 years ago, and we've had 2 beautiful, healthy kids, and we're married again. I was able to start all over again, and I'm very grateful for that, because I look at some of my friends that I grew up with, you know, people that I know that just some of them really have no interest in marriage or kids, and they're my age. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, and it just blows my mind. Like, I mean, that's cool. I think that's awesome. And they're focusing on their lives, but like I say, I can't. I can't say one person's right or one person's wrong. But when I just kind of start to, if I ever start to imagine myself, at this point in my life without a family, a home, a happy home, so that's my greatest reward would be, like I say, because I like learn. I mean, I've learned to be a better husband, a better father, every day. I'm still learning as I go. So,
bro, aren't we all?
Let's honor that. Let's cheer that on. Let's cheer on the families, and you have a beautiful family there, and it is. There's something special about that. That's a big driving force in all of us. Lou's has a big family. I have a beautiful family it's not quite as big as Lou's, but
okay.
I have it's me, my wife, my son, but I'm blessed. I'm blessed to even have that, because like you said, I know a lot of people who don't have that. One of my best friends in high school, but he's not one that wants to be alone. He just happened to work to be our age and just didn't work out that way for him right now. It's still not end. I mean, you're still young. You're all young enough, man. I mean, at the end of the day, you've had a great life. You've had a great career, and there's going to be some great things coming. Folks, I just want you to know, check it out. We're going to be showing a lot more of this guy as the months go by. We're going to be seeing a whole lot. He might even, who knows, take over this whole show. I'm good with that. And if he gets into Hollywood, I'll be your agent, my friend. I'm telling you, I'll be happy to help promote you and find you some gigs. I guarantee you would do a great job. I mean, I always wanted to get into Hollywood some way. Why not do it through you, my friend?
We'll hold your mic.
Well, you got people, and I want to just put this little comment out there. AJ says, John, Car Guys Inc. here. We love your Hey Boss. I got a deal videos. Shoot a fresh round. Listen, that might be something that we can be showing up on this show for you all to see. We'll be doing some stuff, but with some great content behind it, some intentional content for you all to learn something, for the buyers to learn something, for the sellers to learn something, for us to have some predictions of what's going to happen in the future. Folks, this guy is a talent. He's more than just a car guy. He is a family man that loves people, and he's all about helping others, and that's what it's about. He got into this business because he got to help others. For real. And it's legit. There's no criminal act here. We're doing it the right way, my friends. So get out there and have some fun. Go out there and love on this guy. Go share. So listen, folks, be looking for his stuff. We're ready to have him on the show. John, you got any last words you want to say before we get out of here today?
No, I really just appreciate you guys for having me on. I told you before recently in a post that, the word consistency, you guys embody the word of consistency, because no matter what, you just keep pressing forward. You're in a hotel room now. You got the studio. You're going on all these different platforms, and you just keep going. And I love it, man. So stay consistent. And a lot of I've been wanting to I've been trying to imagine last couple of years how I can have some type of outlet or vessel like this. And you guys, literally the whole setup and everything that you do in Brewing Solutions is pretty much exactly what kind of had been envisioning in my head, and eventually, I'd like to do some things in the future. And I mean, look,
awesome.
It's unwritten. I feel like it's just anything that we can make of it. But I feel like, there's some things that I want to talk about in the car business that I really think people need to see, need to hear kind of both sides of the story, kind of get, a little raw with some stuff. Talk about the Trojan horse, the electric vehicles, and the Trojan horse of trying to put car salespeople out of business, and the Carvanas of the world. And and one of these times I was thinking, I probably don't have time now, but I wanted to play that game they play sometimes on these shows, relevant, irrelevant, underrated, overrated, or perfectly rated.
Dude, let's Listen, folks,
When you
that
do
is
that,
coming.
let's go.
We're
We can
gonna
bring some of
we're
that.
gonna be
Go.
all this stuff
Let's
happen.
go.
We got a lot of new stuff. This is 2023. Not only is he going to be elevating his game, but you're going to see the certified solutionaries, the Car Guy Coffee Crew, elevate this team. We're going to grow this team this year, and I think we're going to be starting with guys like him. Oh, this direction, guys just like him right now. Let's go Giants,
baby.
You know, let's get them going. Let's see them win. I know we're over here in Eagle Country. We love you, Eagle fans out there too. It's going to be a heck of a game. It's going to be amazing. But listen.
That's right.
We're down here in Miami, baby.
Represent New York,
hey,
Miami, baby. That's
going,
right. We got that life.
We live, kid.
We got that life.
We live.
We live, kid. I love it, folks. We've been brewing solutions and having a great time right here on the show. I'm Fred Lenars, the subprime hero.
And I'm Lou Ramirez, the car guy. And you've been brewing solutions on the Car Guy Coffee Podcast with the one, the only John Labate. That's right.
Or as he goes by Labate. But listen,
we got to let you guys know something else too, because we already kind of put it out there, but you got to get that stamp of approval.
Oh,
and
dude.
everybody,
we said at the top of the show,
that
but you know
John Labate is 100% CGC approved. That's
Bam.
right. Get you some of that. All right, dude. Car guys, car gals, go represent. If you were blessed by the story, by the message, by the car guy that we've had the privilege of being able to brew with, make sure that you reach out to him. Let him know that you were impacted. Thank you so much, everybody that was part of the show. If you were watching on the replay, you can still reach out and let him know that you got something inside of your cup that was worth sipping up.
Yeah.
We appreciate you all for being here today. God bless. Good evening. Good night. Thank you so much, John, for brewing some solutions on the Car Guy Coffee Podcast. We're out.